Hello, everybody. How are you guys doing? I hope you're having an amazing weekend so far. Welcome to my YouTube channel. It's another live stream. Happy Sunday. All right, guys. So let me know where you're joining from. Let me know where you're tuning in from, and drop a like in the comment. Drop a like, and yes, let's send live stream to multiple people out there. While I'm still here, waiting for some of you to join the chat, I'm just gonna go ahead and just hang out here for a second. But in the meantime, uh, let me know who you're watching from and how your week has been. So I'm just gonna chill for a little bit and wait for some of you to join the chat, and then we'll get this ball rolling. All right. So without further ado, I'm just going to tell you guys about how my weekend has been. My week has been very productive, although hectic. Where I worked over 65 hours last week, I was always at work. So the time I got home, I barely had enough time to do anything. And you guys remember from my last live stream, from the last video I released, so I'm supposed to be releasing another video I was supposed to release another video before the end of this week, but unfortunately I ran into some issues with my computer and the editing software that I was using, and I ended up losing some of the footage. I don't know how, but luckily I didn't delete the footage from my camera from the last time I had filmed. All right, so I'm just gonna go back, get some of the footage that was left out, and piece it back together, re-edit, and release the video. So I'm looking at probably sometimes before the before the end of the week. I would say most likely Wednesday around 9 a.m. That's when I would drop the video. All right, you guys stay tuned for that. So I really don't have a lot of time today. This is my only day off this week. I'm trying to enjoy it as much as I possibly can, but I also wanted to come through here and talk to you guys about a lot of things that has happened since my last live stream within the farm. Of course, you guys don't know, I'm building a house in my farm, where I'm going to have my employees stay there while they work, right? While they take care of the farm. Then from that, we're going to see what's coming up next, because like I told you, my farm is in the building process, but we're trying to get started with the little bit that we have, and then move forward from there. Okay, so if that sounds like something you're interested in, stick around. There is a lot more we can talk about. I talk about farming on my channel. I talk about doing business in Africa. I encourage a lot of Africans to go back home to the motherland and do business in Africa as well, because I believe with whatever's going on around the world, this is the best time that Africans ever had to invest back in the motherland. So if you're one of those people that is still under the impression or the continuing to believe that there are no opportunities or business opportunities in Africa, well, I can't really say anything convincing, but I would just ask you this: if that is the case, why is it that Chinese, Western countries, and multinationals from other European countries are coming to Africa to start businesses and exploit our natural resources? Which means without African resources, the world is not going to get where we are. But I'm not here to talk about the natural resources that each African countries have, right? That attracts the global attention. But I'm here to talk to you about agriculture. This is the sector and area of my personal interest. It took me sometimes to come to a conclusion that this is what I wanted to do. And I take pleasure in talking about agriculture because I know it's the future. Plus, it helps you build the skill set that would eventually help you sustain yourself and also live independently without having to worry about some of these mass production producing countries and the food products that they're putting out in the market for us that are injected with GMO and multiple other things, right, that are making us sick, and life expectancies in a lot of Western countries have declined since the 1970s because of the greediness. But we do farming much more differently from the way it is done in the West, right? And I find that way to be more productive and also to that also promote healthy lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? It's funny because as a child, growing up with all the stories that the media used to tell us, we used to think being skinny, it is actually a sign of poverty. And if you were looking a little buff and you're a little, overweight, it meant that you had money because you were eating good. But years later, it was found that that's actually the other way around. That's the opposite. I mean, you were probably happier when you were skinnier because it takes you less amount of time to accumulate weight than it is to lose weight. And with all of these junk foods that are produced in the West, it is making people sick. People are gaining more weight, and thus they're unable to lose those weights, right? So with those misconceptions as child growing up, now we are grown, we are coming to our conclusions, we're learning a lot more about our health, and we see that the healthiest practice has always been in the way Africa farming industry is, and it's been the case all along. So now people are moving away from agriculture in the West due to that, all right? Because the only thing they worry about is mass production. They mass producing these agricultural products to hire people, pay them, make more money. But in return, people are getting junk food. All right, guys, I see a couple of you have joined the chat. Please do me a favor, hit the like button. Hit the like button for the YouTube algorithm, and I will really, really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Okay, so let's get back to the subject, all right? So the title says that I'm, giving you guys an update of what is happening on my farm, right? I've shared with you, and I'm sharing with you what is taking place on my farm. Obviously, guys, you know that I'm building a house on my farm for my workers, so they have a place to stay while they're doing their job, okay? And because I want them to live comfortably so they won't have any excuse, I have invested in building a one-bedroom house to house them. So they have a place to stay. The buildings are taking place, the construction is still happening, but without any change or any, unforeseen events in the near future, the house should be complete before the end of this week, like starting tomorrow. Everything should be complete, all right? So, but what is happening actually is that the guy that started building, I had to fire the guy. With on that note, I would like to also take the advantage, take the opportunity to let you know that there is actually a video where I mentioned that I touch base on a little more in depth, but I will highly, highly encourage you to hit the like button and subscribe. So when I release that video, you guys get the notification and you will see what I'm talking about. Salute over there, salute to you. And please, God, do me a favor, let me know where you're tuning in from in the comment section down below, all right? And please do me a favor, hit the like button. There's only one person that had hit the like button, and it is multiple of you in the chat. So please do me a favor, hit the like button, and that will help the brother out. All right. So without further ado, let's get back to the video. Okay. Moron. Sorry. Oh, shout out to all of our Congolese and London and all African communities out there. All right, so basically, I started, I hired this guy who by the way, had built the pig barn. It's the same guy that I continue to work with because I trust him based off the work that he has done. I kind of mentioned a little bit that with the pig barn projects, I didn't agree with the roof, the way the roof was done, and I'm probably considering the modification of the roof, but that's really not a big deal because what's important it is to bring the animals back and continue the farming activity. But that's a subject for another day. So I bring the guy back, started working. But you guys know I've always encouraged people to, if you have time and you are building in Congo or doing business in Congo while here in the West, if you could, get on the airplane, fly down there, see what's going on, and learn a little bit about the environments, the area, become more familiar with, the price, the market price of a lot of things, the materials and everything like that. It will really help you in the long way, all right? But the guy actually started building, things were moving smoothly, but then there were a lot of, I would say, mafia happening, a lot of irregularities, which was eventually found, was eventually exposed due to the pressure I've applied upon him. Pretty much, I send my cameraman down there, it's my little homie. He goes down there and films, and then my brother is pretty much in charge of everything. So my brother, he has done a fantastic job in coordinating everything and supervising as they do activities, right? And sometimes it's down there helping out. But there's something about my brother. My brother is a married man. He's got kids. He's got a wife. So I can always depend on him to always be there. And especially just started a new job. So on his day offs, he will go down there and work with them or whatever and supervise. But the one thing my brother failed to do, because every time when I send money and they, something needs to get done, I would ask my brother to go down there, and then my cameraman will go out there also to film and send me the footage so I know what's going on. And it also make an observation of the materials that they have built, how far they have gotten, and it kind of gives me the reports of everything that is taking place. So my brother being in charge of finance, I was under the impression that my brother was actually the one going with, the builders, buying the materials and transporting them into the farm. He had done it occasionally, but not every single time. So my brother got comfortable with them. He'd actually started giving money to the guys, because they live near the farm, and my brother has to travel a distance of up to 45 minutes to an hour, that they will buy the materials from there, they'll transport it into the farm. My brother just meets them there and they do what they got to do, right? And my brother never mentioned any of that to me. I was under the impression that it was there with them. It's just a lot of things was happening, and I started getting some hints on the way things were done. When I'll send my cameraman there, it would do certain things, but then, the results will be different. So I started asking more questions and talking to my brother. I started applying more pressure. So my brother wasn't really opening up, right? Because it was covering for them because of the confidence and the trust that he had built with them, all right? Which isn't bad at all, don't get me wrong. But eventually, what ended up happening is that my cameraman phone broke down, right? So he was unreachable because the guys, they started using the tactics along the way where they will, let's just say they will call my brother, right? And be like, hey, don't come over because it rained heavily down here. If you guys come here, you're just gonna waste your transportation money. You might as well come back tomorrow. So they will do that, making sure they go to the place, purchase the materials, and transport it into the farm. Why did they do that? Of course, pretty much they exaggerated the estimate. They will write the estimate, exaggerate prices on a lot of materials that they were supposed to purchase, right? And then come the day of purchasing the materials to continue building, they will keep my brother out of it. They'll go down there, pick up the materials, transport it, so that my brother doesn't know what's going on. And good thing I made sure I kept all of the receipts and the estimates that they put in paper. Every single time they wrote me something, I took a picture of it and I kept a record of everything. The day that I sent my cameraman down there, because it was unreachable, they tried calling him to tell him not to show up. But they had already called my brother. My brother picked up the phone and they told him, hey, don't show up because it rained heavily. We're going to just come in tomorrow. So my cameraman gets there. It didn't rain, Oh, okay. That's weird. So he gets on the motorcycle all the way into the farm. There's nobody there. It calls one of the guys, didn't pick up the phone. All right, so he went back to the place where the materials was mostly purchased from. He talked to the guy that works there. The guy actually confirmed that they had already picked up the materials and they transported it to the farm. The guy's like, okay, that's not what I thought was the plan. But he couldn't blame the vendor, the guy that works there, right? So he picks up the phone and calls me. He's like, all right, I'm here. This is what's going on. Did you actually give them a green light to transport the materials without your brother being here? I'm like, no, that wasn't the plan at all. I'm like, oh, crap. Okay, I said, well, hang up the phone. I'm going to call my brother and see what's up. So I call my brother. My brother picks up the phone. I'm like, all right, where you guys are you at the farm? Well, at this case, I already knew my brother wasn't at the farm, but I just asked him a question. He's like, no, I'm not at the farm because, they called me stating that it rained heavily and that I couldn't go because if I went, I would have just, waste my transportation money or whatnot. I'm like, oh, brother, just so you know, it didn't rain. And as we speak, such and such is down there on the farm. And this is what's happening. They have bought the materials, right? They have picked up the materials and transported it to the farm without you being there. Did you actually give them a green light that they could pick up the materials and transport it to the farm? My brother's like, no, that wasn't the deal at all. Like, they knew they had to wait for me. I'm like, all right, so something is not right. I need y'all to straighten this out, and I need an explanation as quickly as possible. So things started from there. Because of that, my cameraman guy is like, all right, if you don't mind, just send me pictures of all the estimates that they have sent you since the beginning of the project started, right? I'm like, cool. So I actually went on my WhatsApp gallery. I sent him all of the estimates. My cameraman actually did a fantastic job. All right, guys, I see now there's multiple people in the chat. Please do me a favor, guys. Hit the like button. Hit the like button to help your boy out, with the YouTube algorithm, and I will really appreciate it, all right? So these videos ain't easy. So I appreciate your time, and thank you for hanging out with me. Just do me a favor, hit the like button for the YouTube algorithm. Thank you very much. So my guy, I send him pictures of all of the estimates. He gets the pictures, and this is what he did, right? He went to every single one of the stores where they were purchasing them items from. He started asking prices of every single items. Oh boy, oh boy. What he found out was astonishing. they exaggerated certain prices to the point where, listen, don't get me wrong, I do understand. um if you've ever built anything in Congo, you would know this probably. When a builder or somebody that's going to build a house for you gives you an estimate, they usually tends to either jack up the price a little bit, but not by a whole lot, just because of the fluctuation of the market, because the price tends to go up and down. So due to the fluctuation, let's just say something costs $5, they might put an estimate in $5.5, and usually they will justify it, and they will actually tell you that, okay, the reason we put this price is like actual on the markets now, the actual prices are at this, but we give you these prices because you never know, or things happened when we probably won't need you to intervene and send us money. We could just use whatever it's left. So they actually communicate with you, and I'm aware of that. But this was in a whole different level. So they have exaggerated the prices of certain items to an extent where it was pretty much a ripoff, right? And I'm like, interesting. So my cameraman started conducting, preliminary investigations on certain materials and things like that. And he gathered a lot of information that was enough to say, okay, these guys have been partying all along with my money. I mean, don't get me wrong, they were still getting the job done, but on the top of what I was paying them, when we signed a contract or whatever, and there was like pretty much even making a hell of a lot more than they should have. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, listen, it ain't my problem if you feel like you're not making enough, but don't increase the price for the sake of making twice as much as you should have on the top of, our deal. That ain't my issue, right? That's pretty much extortion right there. So my cameraman started asking questions, and those questions made a lot of people uncomfortable. So they became more uncomfortable, and they wouldn't communicate with me directly because they knew, okay, something was up. So from the moments they have finished the foundation and they have proceeded with the elevation, they've actually have finished the elevation, and I had sent a message, and I ordered no continuation of building until further notice. And they had already kind of gotten a hint that something was going on. So the guy, right, I called him over the phone. I'm like, hey, I would like to have a conversation with you. He's like, yeah, I wanted to talk to you too, or whatever. So, put it to the side. But while that was happening, I already knew that I was going to fire him. So I reached out to one of my guys that I actually worked with. That was the very first person I worked with when I started my farm. This guy was the one who had built the fence. We did the fence work with him when I was in Kinshasa back in 2021, I believe. So this guy, I'm like, hey, this is what's going on. I fill him up on the story, what they have done and how far they have gotten. And I asked him if he was willing to step in and finish the work. He's like, yeah, cool. So, let me know where they at. Send me all the estimates that they gave you, and we'll see what we could do. So I pretty much sent the estimates. Everything is got it. The moment he received it, he asked me, are you building a 2-bedroom house? I said, no. And he goes, damn, like, the estimates should be enough to get you a 2-bedroom apartment, a house. I was like, yeah, that's the issue, but you will find out when you get together with my brother and go down on the farm and find out what's going on down there. So, with like the next couple of days, my new guy gets it together with my brother alongside my cameraman. They went down to the farm and they witnessed what was happening. And I said, okay, this is what's going to happen. Before you get started with the building to continue to where you left off, I would like you to do an exchange. So I'm going to invite him over to on the farm. Then you and him will meet. He will hand over everything to you as a sign of a peaceful transition where, okay, this is the materials that we have built, we have bought, and this is, how far we have gotten, and this is word out, this is my idea, and you take the stake and we move on, right? I called the guy up. I said, hey, this is what's going on. I know. Actually, when we started talking, and I'm like, all of a sudden, just like, yeah, I just wanted to let you know that I'm not going to be able to continue working or doing the job anymore. I said, well, what's the reason? And he told me, he was just rambling around. All right, cool. I got it. I kind of have an idea what's happening now, but I'm gonna ask you a favor. I'm gonna ask you to do something because this is by contract, your obligation to do so. I started working with you. You need to go down there, meet with my new guy, and do the exchange. You need to present him with the materials that you have. The guy actually had some of the materials transported to his house, to his home, not even on my farm, to his house. So he kept the items there. He wanted to make sure the iron bars get cut so we won't have a way to trace it, so we know like the actual measurement. But because he was actually dealing with another guy who was a professional and he knows what he was doing, pretty much the next day that he was supposed to show up, he never showed. So they didn't get together to do the exchange. So I knew something was up. Maybe he was afraid, thinking that I was going to have cops waiting for him. So when he gets to the farm, they would just scoop him up and take him to jail. I can't treat him like that, all right? I have every reason to do so, but that's not what I was planning to do. So I called him back. I said, yo, what's up? You didn't show up. You know what I'm saying? And I actually owed the guy, like, I think it was like $100. And after doing the calculation of everything, the money that I have spent, boy, it's probably 3 times more than what I was paying him. And I'm like, technically, they owe me money than I do owe them. I'm like, all right, if the guy have the balls to ask me for money, I'll give him the money. But I doubt it. He will not ask me for any money. And that's exactly what happened. The guy never asked me for no money because, number one, he was afraid. And number two, he knew he had done something wrong. And I'm like, you know what? I'm a Christian. I'm the type of guy who understands things. I understand some people's struggles, but I decided to move on from that. Let alone, not to mention, before even the guy actually started building, he had reached out to me. This was like around, like the New Year's time, before like the New Year's, like it was like a week, maybe 2 weeks before the New Year's Day, right? He's like, I'm having some, family issues here. My uncle passed away. I'm not currently working for anyone. I'm not making any money. Since you're about to start, your project or whatever, and I'm going to be working on it, if you can just help me out with some money, then when you start, we'll just deduct whatever you will owe me from this one. That's how nice I am. So I actually helped the guy out. I sent him the money. I had it in writing. He acknowledged having received some fund from me, and it was going to be deducted or whatnot. So we did all of that, right? So, but this is just how he repaid me. Then I'm like, oh, you know what, cool. So we moved on from that. My new guy started building. They picked up where they left off. They, secured the place, and they started working on stabilizing, the structures and whatever like that. Like I said, I have a video about that if you're interested and you have not subscribed yet. Hit the subscribe button, and that video I will finish editing today, and I will probably release it Wednesday next week. So keep your eye out on that, and you will get more details about that in that video. So thank you very much. And again, there's multiple of you guys. Do me a favor, hit the like button for the YouTube algorithm, and I would really appreciate it. Thank you very much. So at this point, I'm like, all right, so you did what you did. I'll move on, and it's all good. That's not the end of the world. It's not going to discourage me from, doing what I'm doing. So my guy got up in there, it started working, and it could corrected some of the mistakes that were made, and he kind of filled me up on a lot of things that were happening. I got like a whole team, like a different other people that were there, and while they were working, a lot of secrets started coming out. So they started telling them stories because I decided to cut some of them off. I kind of, I'm still talking to some of them, but not as much as I used to. And they kind of, they know something is up. And now they start complaining, how is Mervale is not, because they usually call me Brother Mervale. Well, how is Brother Mervale is not reaching out to us? Why is he not responding to our text messages? Why is he not talking to us or whatever? And my cameraman is like, I mean, he trusted you guys. Y'all disappointed him. He sent the money. He trusted you to get the job done, but this is how you treated him. And how much more of a trust do you think he has left for you guys? If anything, I mean, you can't really fix the relationship you broke. You burn your own bridges, and now you're concerned why he's acting or reacting in the manner that he is reacting. And I mean, my cameraman kind of like, told them what they have done wrong, right? And from that, because people now are trying to exempt themselves from, the things that they have done, and now they feel like, oh man, I shouldn't have done this. And now they started spilling the beans. A lot of secrets started coming out, and a lot of people's names were mentioned. A lot of people were involved in it. It became like more of like their little mafia of thing that they had going on, where they would just exaggerate the estimate. I'll send the money, they get the money, and they just do some BS work. And I also found out like the pig barn, it's complete, but not 100% complete. I'll probably have to like show you a video eventually where they've only it's 10 rooms for the pigs, because I've built like 100 pig barn capacity barn, right? But in only 2 of them, they urgently build like a little area for the pigs to eat, right? So they spill their feeds there, they eat on there. All the 8 of them, like, don't even have none of that. So now the guys that is building the house now, that's finishing it up, now he has the obligation. I will have to pay him more money so he can get it done. But that's okay, I'll get it done. Why am I telling you and sharing this story with you? I like to bring you positive, stories about building in Africa or doing business in Africa. But it's also my responsibility, since I'm already doing it, to let you guys know so you know what to expect. Maybe you will learn something from this and do differently from the way I've handled it. All right. In this case, it is really nothing I could do. I'm here in America. I'm not gonna fly to Congo anytime. I mean, probably before the end of this year, but I'm still here, and I count on them to get the job done, just like they did when they built the pig barn, right? Because I don't always have to travel to Congo if for things that can be handled without me being there physically, right? So that's pretty much what I have been doing all along, but they still took advantage of that, and it only happened because my brother let it happen. My brother is not accomplice to all of this, just to be more clear. It's just got a little more comfortable and trust him more than he should have. That's why they took advantage of him, directly affected me, right? But it's all good. I'm sure my brother also has learned the lesson. Moving forward, is probably not going to repeat the same mistake that he has done, right? That is why I always tell you guys to go down to Congo if you have the means. Do things while you're there. Do not just trust people to do everything for you, because the more you trust them, the more they become comfortable and they become complacent. And I should mention that the previous team I had, it was more people than than the current team, but more work is getting done at a short amount of time with less people that I have on my current team compared than the previous team I had with more guys. So basically, they kept milking the project just so I continue to give more money to feed them as they do the work. And they were barely getting enough done. And there were even days like the guy who was in charge of the building, who I directly hired, some days he wouldn't even show up. It will send the guys that he had trained. Obviously, they don't have the same kind of experience that he has. So I kind of expected him to be around to kind of supervise things that he was doing. That's why a lot of mistakes were made, and those mistakes were addressed by my new guy. Thank God he knows what he's doing, and I'm very, very happy with the results. So you guys stay tuned. I will share that next video with you, and there is more videos after that. All right, back to what I was saying. I'm sharing this with you so you guys are aware what to expect and the things that are happening when you're building in Congo or doing business in Congo. Know your limits and do your homeworks on the people that you are working with. All right, don't just place your trust on people 100% without giving, like, you know, without, like, just do your due diligence. All right, just do a little more investigation on them, and maybe get the people that you trust most, so that you have multiple people conducting investigation within each other. That's how you get certain answers. So now I've learned something. I'm going to create more factions within my team without them knowing anything about one another. I may have one guy on one mission while they're going there and have another guy on the other mission, and so forth. You know what I'm saying? So they have taken advantage of me so much that, even because you guys know the issue that I have on my farm, the water is still an issue. That's why we are building and working on building our own personal well to actually collect rainwater when the time is right, so that my workers don't have to ride the motorcycle to where they fetch water and bring it back, you know, all the time. That's why my guy that is building has a strategy that he has done from, you know, people that he had worked for in the past, where he built you know, a system of collecting rainwater, and it actually helped out big time with the animal raising and stuff. Because when you're raising animal, you have to have water available on the farm. But because water is an issue in that area, we will have to use the system to build the system of collecting rainwater for more efficiency on the farm, so that we are more independent when it comes down to that issue. And hopefully in the future, moving forward, the government will address these issues, so we won't have the water problems that we currently have anymore. All right, so that's where I'm at. So then he's just going to work on, you know, those things and addressing those issues, then we'll be good to go. So what I was trying to say is that, and even the water, I spend like shit more than like $30 buying water to build. But after all this has happened, I stopped sending money to the guy who was receiving the funds to do this. My cameraman we ended up buying our own can, right? Those 25-liter of empty water that they sell in Congo, the yellow looking one. We bought 10 of them. To fill all 10 of them, it only costs you 10,000 Congolese franc, which is less than $1 for 1 day work. Think about that. But they charged me $60 for it. So this is the kind of exaggeration that I was talking about earlier when I said that they were over, they exaggerated the estimate so they can get more money out of my pockets, right? So this is just one example of that. So now we bought our own tools, because at one point I was using some guys' tools that are nearby. I've sent money over the past week, and they bought these materials. It's all there. I will be sharing those with you in the next coming videos. Just stay tuned, and also, you know, keep up with the building process till it's complete. And also, I should be done with the construction should be complete before the end of this week, and I should be bringing the pigs back into the farm by the following week. without any unfortunate event happening to prevent that from happening, I will keep you guys posted. But I'm running a little late on editing videos and stuff, but bear with me. You'll be getting updates every single time, and I will keep releasing more videos so you guys can see the evolution and how far they've gotten and the things that is happening on the farm as we speak, right? So again, it is very imperative to know the people you work with, so you don't end up making the kind of mistakes. It's not a mistake for me. It is their loss because they have burned their own bridges. They have burned their own bridge, and I know moving forward, I would never do business or work in collaboration with them like that any longer. We will still talk. We'll keep a good relationship. But as far as doing business, I have to stick with serious people, and I'm just continuing to surround myself more and more with people that are more serious, that I can trust, who are also business oriented, because the goal here is that eventually, if everything works out perfectly, we will move back to Congo and run things from the ground, right? Boots on the ground, we're running things and reporting to you guys, so you guys know that this is possible. But because the project the farm is expanding, I am going to jump into poultry farming after this project is complete. But before that, I'm moving the pigs back in, and have the pigs start multiplying or whatnot. And then from there, when we start generating more income from the pig farming, and we'll move forward with the next one. So now I'm in a building process. I'm not making any money. I'm not expected to make any money no time soon, but I'm serious about what I'm doing. And if anybody wants to work with me, it's all about seriousness, because I don't wake up every morning going to work here in America to just send money over to Congo for somebody to party with me. That's a no-no. And I'm a Christian. I don't curse people. I don't wish people bad, because I want what's good for them. But I will let the punishment of God fall upon them. As a human being, I can't wish anybody bad. I want everybody to be successful and go about their business. But it just hurt my feelings a little bit, knowing that people will still not understand the struggles that we got to go through here, no matter how much money you make, and the sacrifices that we make to send money to Congo, to realize, to build and do these activities, because we're trying to get away from the Western system that most of us despise, right? We're trying to create and build businesses so that we are comfortable moving back home and living comfortably and being financially independent without the need to coming back here to the West and get a job and get a paycheck. Whereas you can run your business back in Congo and also live off of whatever your business income is generating to you. You understand what I'm saying? So let me grab this comment real quick. Stealing is a norm in Kinshasa. Doing business well. Being abroad is very hard. You need trustworthy people. I would have to agree with you on that. There are always trustworthy people back home, and there's still a lot of them out there running around. You just gotta find them. You just have to find them. I have a lot of people on my team that are trustworthy, but unfortunately, the main guy who's supposed to have the highest integrity, he fell off the wagon. That kind of, I don't know. That kind of like it caused things to fall apart a little bit. But we still have hope that eventually these type of behavior will not repeat itself. It will not happen. We're just hoping for the best. All right. As much as I would love to continue this conversation with you guys, I have pulled up to a friend's house. I got something to pick up from here, and I gotta head home because I got things to do. Today's my only day off. I'm just trying to relax, watch movies and shows, and just have a good time, because when the week starts, I'm back at it again. All right. Stay strong and have faith with the people that you work with. Do your business as usual. Don't let any negative energy to deter you from doing anything in Africa. This shouldn't really prevent me from doing what I'm doing in Congo, and I'm just learning every step of the way, and it puts me in a much better position to learn what kind of tactics that I should use to minimize just this sort of, you know, I mean, I don't know, activities, you know what I'm saying? And yeah. All right, guys. So thank you guys for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Oh, happy Sunday. I'll see you in a minute. Keep those alerts turned on for the videos that I said I was gonna drop. Keep an eye out on it for next Thursday, until next Wednesday at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.